by the way, we learn a lot more from our failures than we do from our successes. And that's one of the keys about failure. I want to just very briefly, diverge there, is that, when it comes to entrepreneurship, and I teach entrepreneurship as well as sales, right? And I always think of entrepreneurship in two separate columns. You have on one side of the equation what I call learning how to fail elegantly. Now, this means learning how to go into business in a way so when you're wrong, and you're going to be wrong more than you're right as an entrepreneur, that you minimize on the financial loss, the time loss, the pain you feel. And my good friend Elliot and I, we had our massive failure together in our early 20s in the meat business, right? And we get into this business together, and it was a fucking disaster. I mean, like, literally, it was so bad. Like, the day we started this business, Hurricane Gloria pissed down 30 inches of rain on us. We started the business in someone's muddy backyard, and it sunk into the center of the earth. That was foreshadowing what happened next. But Elliot and I were great salesmen. We dug it out of the mud, and for a year and a half, 2 years, we did and I was a great salesman, great trainer. Elliot was a great salesman. I trained salesmen. I grew from 1 truck to 26 trucks. We were making a ton of money. We thought we leased a Porsche and a Continental, right? Well, it turned out we were making every mistake that young entrepreneurs make. We were overexpanding. We were undercapitalized. We were growing on credit. Okay? And before we knew it, just like that, we were out of business and bankrupt at 23. Now, what I didn't realize at the time, we often don't, is that when it's happening, you think it's the worst thing in the world, it's a disaster, it's so painful, but yet, what I learned from that failure paved the way for every success that I had. Learning things about, how do you get into business and test ideas out. Make sure that you go into business properly capitalized, that you don't overexpand, that you don't grow on credit. All the things that for experienced entrepreneurs, they seem obvious. Well, for people starting out, they're not so obvious. So you must learn what these things are. There are rules to business, and that fundamental rules, you must learn how to fail elegantly, which means go into business in a manner that allows you to be wrong and minimize on the pain and the loss financially and time, and maximize on the lessons learned. That's half of the equation. And on the other half of the equation, you have what I called learning how to succeed wildly. Meaning, what do you do when the shit is right? Every once in a while, and it is every once in a while, you test an idea and it's better than you thought. It actually works better than you thought. And everything, for whatever reason, it's all the moon's in the 7th house and Jupiter's aligned. When you get it all, the whole thing's just working. Well, how do you take a small business and turn it into a big business? How do you take a big business, turn it into a multinational company? How do you go public? How do you do all the things that allow you to really become a powerhouse? That's an entirely different set of rules than there are for failing elegantly. In fact, they're almost exact opposite of failing elegantly, how you go about doing that. Now, and I'm trying to go into all this stuff, but I just want you to be aware, okay, that in terms of failure, remember, failure is a part of life, it's a part of business, and the one lesson I always give to my own son, I love my son, right? I said, Carter, I said, you're not the failures of the past. You're the resources and capabilities that you glean from the past. With every mistake that you make, you actually get stronger if you're willing to learn from your mistakes and not dwell in them. And that's the key. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, you go through life like that and realize that when things don't go your way and you make mistakes, and sometimes, by the way, it's through no fault of your own, bad timing, and many times it is your own fault, whatever it may be, the idea is to take those lessons, become stronger, try again, put one foot in front of the other. And I'm living, breathing testimony that when you do that and you know the rules of business and you know how to close the deal, you can make miracles happen. You really can.